this. Obviously we designed our house with the view in mind, and we wanted as much glass as we could have to see the view. And one of the problems with having a lot of glazing is it lets the heat in. Like now with the sun pounding in, it could get really hot in here.
Right.
And likewise when it's cold outside, you want the sun to warm the interior of the house. So the energy efficiency of the glazing was really important to the design of the house. You couldn't have a lot of glass if it was just going to let all the heat out in winter and let too much heat in summer. So this glazing is a special kind of double glazing called low E glazing, or low emissivity, which means that it doesn't allow a lot of infrared heat in. Like now with the sun pounding on the windows, it's not ridiculously hot in here because the windows are insulating. And likewise, when it's cold, like tonight, when it drops to 40 something, like they said it would on the news, it stays 70 inside the house without the furnace, without a running heater.
And here we also have the concrete floors that you were mentioning.
The flooring was done at the time that we built the house. The floor slab is poured, and with the wet concrete, when they're troweling the finish on the floor, they put what's called a color hardener material. It's a powder that they throw over the surface of the wet concrete, and they trowel it in. Two different colors, so you get this kind of marbled look.
Right, I like the textured look.
Yeah, and you're done. So that was it. The coloring was put on at the time the concrete floor was poured, and then the very last thing that was done after the house was painted and everything was they put a sealer on, which gives it a slight gloss that you can see. It's not a dull look, and it's not super shiny. You can have it at any texture you like. And the total cost of finishing the floor this way was about $5 a square foot.
Wow.
Which compares with, you're lucky if you can find a nice tile or wood for $10 a square foot, and then there's the labor to install it. So that's an example of doing something that's environmentally friendly, and I'll talk a bit more about that. It's environmentally friendly, but it's a lot less expensive than other types of flooring.
So David, here we are in your kitchen.
Yeah, the kitchen, we wanted a European look for the cabinets with the horizontal line, just because of the contemporary architecture in the house. And we found this material, it's actually a laminate. So it's just a very thin birch, natural wood veneer on top of a less expensive lumber, which means that we didn't have to harvest a lot of birch trees to get this look for our kitchen. So we think by not harvesting trees that are difficult to grow and have to be imported, we're helping the environment, and it gives us the look we want. So I think that's a point I wanted to make about the whole house. By being a greenhouse, we don't feel as if we compromised any design or comfort features, not like a weird house or a faddy house. It's the house we wanted, including the look on the kitchen with veneer. The appliances, we bought new appliances, and it's quite difficult to buy appliances with a contemporary look that fits with this style of architecture. Well, you can get, but there isn't as much of a variety of choice. So after we picked this vendor, we were kind of stuck with this line, and we assumed that a very expensive refrigerator bought in 2006 would be an energy efficient fridge. Well, it turns out it's so not energy efficient, it's not even on the Edison list of approved appliances. Wow. So he wouldn't have qualified for a rebate for this fridge. So it's buyer beware. When you're doing green building, don't take for granted that just anything is going to be green. This is a very energy non-efficient refrigerator. So I think that's what I wanted to point out about the kitchen. The lighting is all low voltage on dimmer. So you crank the electricity way down when you don't need a lot of light. And the countertops, this is actually a Caesar stone.
They're beautiful.
Don't you think?
I really like these.
I think a lot of people are starting to use Caesar stone. It's a product, a man-made product that's made from crushed granite. So you you can use recycled granite mixed with an epoxy.
Oh, really?
And it's really hard. You don't need a sealer. It doesn't stain. It doesn't scratch. You put it in and it's
And it
good.
never needs to be sealed.
Never needs to be
Wow.
sealed.
Here we are to the outside of your home, basically the patio that extends out from the living room to these beautiful views, and we can look down the hillside and see some of the landscaping that you put in.
This part of the foothills above Santa Barbara has had some major wildfires in history, and so the fire department helped us to take account of that by putting in fireproof, fire retardant landscaping. It's actually divided into zones. As the first 30 feet away from the house is nothing more than 18 inches high, and for the next so many feet there are no large trees, and only beyond that there are larger trees like these olives, but the olives are isolated. There's no what's called a fire ladder.
Right.
Fire can come along the ground and work its way up shrubs and into trees. So you have to design for that to be fireproof. We want it to be 100% indigenous, so all our planting is native to Santa Barbara. And the irrigation system, we wanted to use the least amount of water we could to keep the plants thriving. So it's a drip irrigation system that's metered. Every plant gets exactly its own metered amount of water. The irrigation system doesn't go on if it's raining. We can adjust it for the season, and all the zones get less water and that kind of thing. So it's possible to be energy efficient in the landscaping as well as inside the house, and to make the fireproof nature of the outside work with a lot of the fireproof features we had to build into the house, like the metal roof, the metal roof that's fireproof, sprinkler system inside the house, and these closed eaves. You can see which are metal clad. There's no wooden beams exposed to fire.
Yeah.
So the house was designed to be fireproof as well as everything else.
David, thank you so much for giving us your time today and walking us through your amazing home and sitting down with us and answering all of the questions. And
You're very welcome. I appreciate your interest in the green building. Thank you for taking the time.
well, we've had a chance to meet two extraordinary men and see their homes and learn a lot about green building. I hope you've enjoyed this experience as much as I have. A huge thank you to John Kelly and David Berry for your time, and a huge thank you to you for watching. And remember, if you'd like more information on the Santa Barbara City College Continuing Education Series, you can go online to ce.sbcc.edu.